We're live.
Hola, Madridistas. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. I don't know how we should tackle this, honestly, because I'm too numb to even describe what I'm going through. I'm pretty sure, most of us have the same feeling.
A very feeling of, like we're going to somebody's funeral or something. A very sad.
Yeah.
We're live.
Yeah. Hola, Madridistas. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Who is it running? I don't know how we should tackle. I can hear it back.
My bad.
Right. Okay. That was weird. Listening to my own voice, man. Come on. But yeah, people.
It was Sunat from another dimension.
Yeah, doesn't sound great. I'll tell you that. But yeah, we are here with the Karim special, like we had one for Casemiro last year. So we'll be actually touching upon Karim's legacy with us all throughout his 14 or so years of excellence, ups and downs, questioned, doubted, always rose to the occasion, silenced his critics. Proved his point, man. I was one of the doubters myself. I wasn't very convinced, especially when Higuain left, that is Benzema going to be that guy? But boy oh boy, I was proven wrong 1,000 times over. But before we kind of get into the crux of it, also, guys, like if you're tuning in, the meeting ID and the passcode for the room, the Zoom chat that we are on, is in the link is in the description of the video. So yeah, like if you wanna join us and have a chat about Karim, Asensio, Mariano, if you would like, chat up his hairstyles. Yeah, man, feel free to do so. We'll be here for like 90 odd minutes, hopefully. But yeah, let's talk about the match first. Who wants to, address the elephant in the room? That wasn't a great game to watch. What a whimper to, go out on such a promising season, the way it started off. Bilbao had everything to play for at the time of kickoff, but yeah, eventually, even when they lost momentum, when I heard that Osasuna were leading and whatnot, even when they didn't have a chance, they looked far more threatening than us. I'll come to you, Mo. Yeah, man, your couple of cents about the game today. Funnily enough, the opponent that Karim has scored the most goals against.
Yeah, I think it was sort of like karma, if I might say so, that he plays the opponent he scored against the most in Bilbao, and then goes out scoring a goal, although it was a penalty. For the match, I think I don't really know. I don't really have any words, because this has been such a, I shouldn't be saying strange season, because we have been here before, especially in 18-19 and stuff like that. But I think this season it promised a lot at the start, because we had a brilliant start, right? Especially after that Barcelona, the first game against Barcelona, we were leading the league and everybody was like, Real Madrid are going to repeat as champions. And since then it has been nothing short of a disaster. So coming into this game, none of us really had any expectations, because the only fear for us was like finishing third in a 2-horse race. And for a period of time, it looked like that would happen, when Bilbao were leading and Atleti took the lead against Villarreal. So thanks to Villarreal, saving Real Madrid's blushes, although they pushed us into it. So I don't know how much thanks I would give there. But Real Madrid looked completely motivationless. I've touched upon this, but I think the fitness wasn't there. Once the desire isn't there, I think the fitness level starts showing up, lack of fitness, I should say. So that was there. The motivation was, I guess, lacking. Probably Vinicius wanted to put on a show for Benzema, and at least create a chance for him, because he had some good moves and stuff like that. Rodrigo was trying his best, but I think apart from that, Carvajal, although he tried, I think he made a lot of mistakes, in the final third, misplacing balls and stuff like that. And even the coordination between Camavinga and Carvajal on the right side was like, it was utterly, I don't really have words for that. So I guess to sum it up, disappointing, boring, but we had to bear through it because of Benzema. As simple as that. If it wasn't Benzema's funeral game, I don't know how many people would have watched it. I don't know how many people would have come to the stadium.
100%. The amount of times I saw Kamavinga give away the ball, like I was questioning his nationality at one point in the game. Wait, is he actually French? But yeah, man, Farouk, bro, I know you didn't see the game, but Karim scored a goal. Is that something we can be, satisfied with, at least?
I mean, yeah, exactly like what Mo just said. I was just thinking to myself that I could have said this about like maybe 12 to between 15 to 20 games this season. It's like exactly what he said. Although I didn't see the game, but it's just it's a regular team right now, unfortunately, of the team. But as you guys said as well, the whole reason why I believe a lot of people tuned in the game, it's to give Karim a farewell, and yeah, he rightfully deserves that goal, and especially against his favorite team in La Liga. So yeah. It's something to at least it's a silver lining if there's anything as such. So yeah, he scored in the last game, and he got the farewell he deserved in front of the fans.
Mo, the penalty, I didn't see it. I couldn't see it because my stream cut off. Yeah, for Bilbao,
okay.
It was a handball of Cruz, was it?
Yeah, it was a handball Cruz. The commentators kept saying it was something similar to what happened to Jack Grealish against City. Sorry, against United in the FA Cup final. Yeah. I didn't really watch the FA Cup final, so I don't really know what happened there. But basically, I guess Cruz jumped, missed the ball. Iñaki was behind him, and he sort of headed it into Cruz's hand, Cruz's back of his hand. So they gave a penalty for that. I don't really like that decision because I don't think penalty should be given for that. But it is what it is. Apparently, it is the law. So, I can't really go and challenge the law.
Sorry?
Can't you, though?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Farouk, I don't have your gravitas and pull in UEFA.
But he saves the pen, right? Thibaut, wonderful save.
I had this, I don't know. Okay, this is going to sound cliche, but I had this sensation that probably Courtois is going to, premonition that Courtois is going to save it. And he saved it. So, yeah, I was pretty happy. But I think it was a pretty poor penalty from a West guy, I guess. So, whatever works for Madrid, whatever saves our blushes, whatever prevents us from being the third team in the two-horse race.
100%. We had some promising moments here and there, but nothing significant to really write home about. Vinicius had a couple of neat neat exchanges. Rodrigo, Benzema, Ceballos, nice attempt of a back heel. At some point, everyone was trying to feed Benzema the ball one way or the other, failing horribly.
I think if it did anything, this match sort of highlighted that we have huge areas of weakness, especially without Benzema.
Obviously.
So it just even laid it to it laid it bare even more. So I guess the window that is coming up, especially when you consider the fact that 4 or 5 players are leaving, you really have to strengthen it. So let's see what happens. The only thing that I can say after watching this game is bring on the transfer window. That's all.
100%. It's basically starting from square one, it seems like, at least in attack, because it's such a crucial position.
Yeah, and we only have 2 attackers, right? Rodrigo and Vinicius on the books. So
it's pretty crazy, man. Beginning of the season, nobody expected us to have such a major overhaul in the attack, because we were coming off of one of our most historic seasons and whatnot. To go from that high to this lull, it's mad, man. I can't put it into words. Honestly, my heart feels so heavy that I can't really even process what's going on. I feel like this is an out of body experience, because I can see myself going through this shitty couple of months. I'll say 2.5, 3 months, which has been nothing but stuff to forget, apart from the Clásico win in the Copa semi. Yeah, man. The way Bilbao got back into the game, I couldn't watch that either. Can you break it down for us more?
Bilbao got back into the game?
Bilbao scored the first goal. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, I guess
Ceballos loses the ball, right?
Yeah, Bilbao were kind of I think Bilbao were the better team overall, right? Even
very attacking lineup by Valverde.
I mean, they were creating a lot of chances. I guess the issue was like, given the fact that you didn't see the goal, if you see it when the goal went in, there were only two players in the box. I believe one was Nacho, the other was Militao, and they were kind of split with the acres of space between them. And then I was watching the goal, and I was reminded of a discussion in the last episode, right, about having a defensive midfielder, because Cruz was playing DM and Cruz didn't track back. So it was basically them two in the box, trying to defend against like three players from Bilbao. And so after Ceballos lost the ball, so Camavinga sort of went back and tried to, delay the inevitable, and Courtois makes the save. But, the rebound fell to Bilbao again, and then they scored. They took advantage of the fact that we didn't really have enough numbers. And that's a recurring theme with Real Madrid this season, lack of numbers, lack of a proper defensive, guidelines to work with.
I could see from early on, like people were very hesitant to, put in the hard yards to defend. They were very lackadaisical, to say the least.
Yeah,
no surprises.
Yeah, I guess it's like we have been referring, right? Is the last match of the season. There's really nothing on the line, unless you consider second spot something on the line. I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't really care about that. I don't know how the players feel about it.
A couple of million difference in the money you earn, right?
I don't really know how the players feel about it, because their wage is probably Champions League qualification. Yeah, guarantees them a bonus and stuff like that. So I don't really know if there's a difference between second and third.
No, from the club perspective, I was speaking.
Yeah, definitely, but the club is not playing, right? It's the players, and I don't know if they care. Maybe Ancelotti cares a little bit because he was pretty angry after how things went. But yeah, overall it was like meh from the players.
Right, and then Militao's slap to the face, which I guess that was kind of was a lucky break for us, like Yuri Berchiche very lucky.
Yeah, lashed out, and he hits Militao in the face, and yeah.
How many times have we seen that being given? I don't recall any major games where a slap to the face while you're jumping in the air to contest for
I think it wasn't the fact that it was like kind of like he lashed out, Berchiche. His hand kind of moves away from his body, and it looks like he's lashing out, so that was why they gave it. If it had just been an action while jumping, they wouldn't have given it, but it felt like that he was intentionally moving his hand away from his body to and making contact with Militao's face. So I guess that was the reason why they gave it. But if it hadn't been given, I would have been I would have been disappointed a bit, but I wouldn't really have complained much. But it got given, and that's how it rolls.
I was super surprised I was given, and I'm not going to complain.
Yeah,
and
even I was surprised, to say the least, because before that I think there was a tackle on Vinicius as well. That was also pretty soft, so I thought maybe he wouldn't give this one either, but then he gave this one. So lucky us.
Benzema chooses to go down the middle. Oh my God, I was like, fucking hell, man! Like you could have.
When I initially watched it, I thought he missed. I thought Simon saved it and the ball came back. But then on second look, I realized no, it actually went in. So it was kind of funny though. Benzema always scores right, left, or top. Top center with the Panenka and stuff. But this time he just went low down the ground. If Simon understood, maybe he probably saved it. But Benzema is Benzema. He knows the situations. That's why he is what he is.
Yeah. He just waited for Unai Simon to, make his move, and then, slots it straight down the middle. Happy for him. The way he celebrated, I could see how much it meant to him. Like usually it's the punch in the air, leap, which didn't happen today. Much more, laid back. I think he must be, going through a lot of emotions, contrasting emotions, I'm pretty sure, because somewhere deep down, I'm very sure, Benzema would have felt like maybe one more year, maybe, because we have always been there, in various stages of life where we think we might have, one more chapter to write, somewhere, but it's better to leave people wanting more. I think there is an elegance, there is there is some grace to it.
Yeah. Before I would like to just cut in and talk to
Sam, get the fuck out of the stream. Get the fuck out, bro. Honestly, just leave. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we were talking about the point you were making. I think it's the same point about what Zidane did, right? Florentino went to the locker room and told them, just tell me you want to continue 1 year, and I'll write your contract right now. So although he had a 1 year left, Zidane had 1 year left on his contract still. I think Benzema's situation is something similar, and I guess Benzema is following what Zidane did. Walk out with your head held high. You don't want to walk out with you don't want to be pushed out of the team. Rather go out on a high. I guess that's something that everybody knows. Knowing when to leave is kind of like an important thing. So I guess Benzema just felt that this was the occasion, because his performances this season, personally, while I think he's probably been the better striker, he's the striker with the best goals per minutes ratio in La Liga currently. But he's been battling injuries and having trouble influencing games the way he used to last season. Till last season. So I guess it's the right point for him to leave, and I guess he realized it. And you also have to talk about his motivation, especially after the disappointment he had at the club at the World Cup, because I think that's when the situation changed for me personally. His press conference in the Supercopa de España, those things. I think from that time on, I had my doubts about Benzema, but I still thought that he would continue, like you said, 1 more year. But it is what it is. Benzema decides, this is the right time to leave.
100%. Yeah, man. Like we discussed, before we actually went live, everything that could go wrong this season went wrong. That's why it's so hard to, really digest how this season panned out, because the way it started again was super promising. Yeah, next time, Carlo. I mean, next year, obviously he'll be here as of now. And if
unless Florentino and Brazil, they reach an agreement.
Yeah,
something
Farouk
that actually
needs
made
to.
Yeah, that's something that made Farouk pretty happy today. So
Farouk needs to pray harder, bro. Yeah, unless something drastic happens, Carlo will be here, and if we get off to a flyer again, I'm not gonna get off my seat until fucking March, April.
Yeah.
So yeah, you heard it here first.
No.
Right.
Somehow the 2 meters are.
Farouk is in
deep conversation right now.
Deep conversation. Mute the thing, bro.
Okay.
Mute the thing, bro. Right. Yeah, we have a few comments.
Okay.
While Farouk deals with his
life emergency.
Yeah. Ashik says, "What a pulsating match! I felt like I was comatose." Au revoir, Benzema.
Ashik wasn't the only one feeling comatose.
Yeah, pretty much everyone should have been. We're going to rip it up, baby. LOL. Bienvenido, Joselo. Yeah, that's what he said. End of an era, the last of the BBC moves, and we are going to end up with Fox News. What does he mean by Fox News? BBC moves. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get the pun. Right. From BBC to Fox, yeah. Ashik says definitely going to miss Mariano. Look at his career titles, a legend. 100%.
I mean, he has more titles than Harry Kane, so.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a mad thing to even think about. Let alone.
It's kind of funny. Harry Kane only has 1 title. That's the Audi Cup, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Audi Cup. When did he even win the Audi Cup?
I don't know. I think it was before the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah, let's save it for Tap in Tobes. Hopefully he'll be joining us. If Harry Kane makes his way, and he'll have very pleasant stuff to say about the Audi Cup and how much he rates it. So yeah, watch out for it, people. Scott Hynam says wasn't the best way to go out. Ed says I thought Benzema would have stayed 1 more year. Yeah, people got carried away with the Marca, awards, where he actually mentioned, he basically questioned, you shouldn't do that. Like, why do that? Because I could see right through his bullshit, man, right there and then. I wasn't even at the awards, just the way he basically confronts the guy who asked the question, says it out loud that he's just insecure with he just is put on a spot he doesn't want to be in, with that question. You could say that.
I think personally, it was more of Benzema wanted the club to have a say first, because if you know about Benzema, it's like Florentino and Benzema have a pretty good relationship, right? So I don't really think Benzema would have gone and said something.
But later stuff came out that the club was kind of super surprised with the way Benzema handled, the question at the awards.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what to read.
People,
what is true.
Journalists also said that Benzema was going to stay. I remember immediately after the Marca Leyenda ceremony, there was like this article in Marca that said, "Oh, Benzema stays," and then everybody just started jumping on the bandwagon. Personally, I think the club always knew what Benzema was planning. Like there was, they knew that his utterances didn't really mean anything, because they knew that Benzema was contemplating leaving Real Madrid. So I don't really think that was an issue. They probably knew all along. There's been reporting from reliable sources that Benzema, when he had that meeting with Ancelotti on like Tuesday and Wednesday, he already told them that he wanted to go. So I don't really think it came as a surprise to the club that Benzema was leaving.
Dennis Agret says, Gracias Benzema for everything you've done for the club. Man, this hurts. Yeah, 100%. Like I don't even want to describe how I feel, honestly. It'll be a long day if I start to. Ashik says, all good things come to an end, and Benzema's time at Real is at an end. A new hero will rise, and Benzema will move on to write a new chapter in his career. And what a career it was. Mercy, Karim.
Yeah, somebody said Benzema wants to win the Asian Champions League and end his career at the Club World Cup. So let's see if that happens. Hopefully.
Let's see if that happens. It's not a shabby way to go out. Asian Champions
League. He's going to a good team, right? They're the champions of the Saudi League. So
yeah. Messi, Cristiano, and Benzema. Hilal, Etihad, and Al Nassr. Well. It'll be.
Maybe we should start a podcast about the Saudi League.
Probably at this rate. At this rate, you could see Ramos there as well. So it is an avenue that should be worth exploring. But again, friendly reminder.
Do you think they'll pay us though? Yeah, from some money from the PIF. They're giving 200 million of Benzema.
Probably. Oh yeah. Maybe I should hit up a couple of my friends, down in Saudi. Ask them to head over to Roshan Saudi. What's the Saudi Pro League or something? Roshan. It used to be MBS. Now it's Roshan. I don't know what it'll be next year. I hope it'll be something more, elegant, like STC, the Saudi telecom company, something like that would sound Roshan. Is this a fucking Dhaka league?
It'll be Newcastle United Saudi League. I don't know.
Yeah, at this rate, anybody who pays money, Tic Tac can maybe sponsor, Saudi League at this rate. But yeah, Ashik says the PSG seem to have upgraded themselves in one position with Asensio. Yeah. We'll talk about Asensio.
Yeah, they have a player who can score goals in clutch situations now, I guess. Asensio had that knack of, getting some points in difficult situations. So,
but you go to PSG, if you're playing at 80% commitment, 90% commitment levels, drops down to 30%. That's just the way,
the league is.
Yeah, the league is, the club is. I don't think every club in Liga is as laid back and careless as PSG.
I was actually surprised to learn that PSG only won the league by 1 point. I thought it was more. I was reading somewhere they won the league by 1 point.
For them to win the league and for them to boo Neymar, Messi, they don't give a fuck, but boo Neymar, it just goes to show.
Neymar is. I don't know. Neymar has been pretty much on the outs with PSG fans, right? They went to his house and did some stuff.
I know. Still, they should give a bit more fuck about Neymar than Messi, in my opinion. But
Neymar is always disappearing in March.
I know. Sisters' birthdays are important, man. Like, come on, get real. But friendly reminder again, people. 15 odd if you in the chat. Don't forget to smash the like. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Also, we are having a live call-in show this time, like Casemiro the last year. So if you wanna, share your thoughts on Karim, Asensio, even Eden Hazard, Mariano, feel free to do so. Hop on to the Zoom room and we can have a conversation, Right. So where do we begin, Mo? I would like your help to, kind of kick off things with, properly talking about Karim. We have to kind of leave out the last 10, 15 minutes for Asensio as well. So keep that in mind, people. But yeah, man, take it away, bro. Where do we start?
I guess if we're talking about Benzema, the good point to start is at the beginning, right? For me, my personal experience, like you already mentioned about it, you said you weren't really sure about Karim when he came to Real Madrid. I think it is logical because at Real Madrid he had a pretty poor start at the start of the season when did something happen to Sunil?
I'm just drinking water. I'm right here.
Cool. Yeah, for me, that's the point to start, right? First season was pretty disappointing. He scored less than he scored in single digits that season. So I guess that was pretty disappointing. And it kind of explains why everybody was down on him. Second season under Mourinho wasn't, at the first half, wasn't great either. And, that incident with, if you can't hunt with a dog, you hunt with a cat thing happened. And, I think that kind of pissed Benzema off. And
what did he actually mean by that? If you can break it down for the people who didn't watch us during that period.
Okay, for Jose Mourinho, I think he likes playing with a particular type of strikers, right? And there was this fight between Mourinho and Jorge Valdano, who was the sporting director at the time. That he wanted them to bring in a striker, but the club wasn't agreeing with Mourinho. They said we already have Benzema because Benzema is. Benzema is Florentino's, for lack of better ways, Florentino's son. So they wanted Mourinho to play with him, and Mourinho was refusing to do it. So he went out in the press and did his Mourinho things, and he started saying that if you can't hunt with a dog, that's Higuain, then you hunt with a cat. So that's Benzema. So that's where the cat thing started. I think it sort of pissed Benzema off because I remember watching his documentary. He said that he kind of went and had a chat with Mourinho and said, I don't really like the shit that you're doing. Because Benzema, if you guys don't know, he's a very reserved guy, right? He doesn't really talk much. Like even today when he scored the goal, his celebration was rather muted. So if somebody was more expressive, you would see different sort of emotions. But with Benzema, you don't really see that because he's kind of reserved. He'll keep it to himself and stuff like that. And at the start of his Real Madrid career, the same thing. This was an issue because people used to think that his body language wasn't good. He's not interested.
Yeah, he didn't give as much of a fuck. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, definitely. So that was the issue. And with Mourinho coming out and saying this, he sort of pissed Benzema. But anyways, Real Madrid bought Adebayor in, and he was playing for certain minutes, but then still Benzema,
I was super surprised the amount of game time that Adebayor was getting, because he was supposed to be a backup plan.
Yeah, I think Benzema at that point changed his career at Real Madrid because the second half of the season he went on to score a lot of goals and kind of played himself in. And in 11-12, I think that's where Benzema's trajectory changed because Zidane comes in and Zidane, if I remember, he recommended a fitness center to Benzema where he went and, he lost some weight and stuff during the summer. And the next season was simply brilliant because if you guys remember, 11-12 season, Real Madrid is legendary, one of the most legendary seasons, right? I don't know what your memories of the season are, but Benzema scoring 32 goals, it was his highest tally till I think last season.
And that too with him sharing game time with Higuain, that makes it even more impressive,
Yeah,
and it wasn't just a lopsided split in game time. It was 50-50, right? Bang on.
Yeah, it was 50-50, and Higuain also stepped up a lot, right? Higuain scored a lot of goals as well. So I guess that battle, that season 11-12 between Higuain versus Benzema was if you knew if this guy's playing on Saturday, then he's not playing midweek. If this guy's playing midweek, he's not playing Saturday. So that was the thing. And I guess 12-13 was kind of meh, Benzema's.
He did the stupid haircut. My God! Oh, what an abomination that was! Fucking hell! I remember seeing that haircut and thinking to myself, he ditched all that good vibes from last season for this. Immediately I was he's not gonna have a good good season with that shit. But yeah, I'm glad that he dropped that half shaven hairdo pretty quick.
Yeah, for me as well, I think now that you bring it up, that hairstyle was pretty horrendous. But yeah, you take whatever you get, right? For me, the moment that I remember from 11-12 season is probably your friendship between Ozil and Benzema, because I think it was a game against Osasuna where they were sort of attacking the Ozil or something, and Benzema came to defend him. I guess that's something that endures in my mind. And then 13-14 season, I think, is when Benzema started. Benzema really, he started establishing himself around as a starter, because Higuain was sold. That was a big, let's say, statement of intent. And I guess Zidane had something to do with it, because Zidane,
I was against it. I still remember, like, when these guys, I know, like, obviously with game time being limited for one or the other, there's gonna be some, heat in the equation. But going by what I saw in the 11-12 season, there was brilliant camaraderie, between these two guys. Like, even when they used to play together, they used to be pretty selfless. I've seen Benzema.
I think Benzema's key characteristic that gets often ignored is the fact that he can play with a striker, but he can also play centrally and play the lone striker. People are always like, Benzema is a 9.5, and they try to replace him with an attacking midfielder, which I think gets something wrong. Is the fact that Benzema is primarily a 9 who can also do a job of a 10. He has the technique to play as an attacking midfielder, but then what a striker does, Benzema does that too. And you don't really have anybody else who does that, like, apart from maybe Harry Kane. So that's something that always gets overlooked about Benzema. So that partnership between Higuain and Benzema, whenever they played together, I think that really brought.
Higuain was the more obvious focal point, and Benzema used to, drift out wide. Yeah.
Higuain wasn't a slouch either. He was a pretty good player at Real Madrid. So, but between the two, like, personally for me, because I am someone who has followed Benzema since he was at Lyon, I was pretty happy when they signed him for Real Madrid, right? So even during his dark times, I knew this guy's gonna develop out and break out and stuff like that. I used to get a lot of hate online whenever you go to the forums and talk about it. But anyways, Benzema, what he's done since 13-14 season is, like, known to people. He had a pretty good
but bro, the thing is, you talk about 13-14 season. I'm gonna just segue into Farouk's opinion. Since then, since the 13-14 season, I remember, yes, Higuain left, yes, the spotlight was on Benzema, yes, Bale comes in, yes, the BBC has its inception. There were still, very raging questions being asked of Benzema's ability to, really complement the side. And I remember vividly that I had to, contest a fair few questions myself. And somewhere stuff that I didn't have exact answers to.
If I can answer before Farouk says, I think this is a very valid point that gets asked about Benzema always, because he's not scoring goals, so what is he doing? But then you have to see that through the prism of what Cristiano's role was. Like, Benzema, although he was starting in the center, he wasn't the striker for the team. He was essentially a midfielder. What Cristiano was the main guy. Benzema was supposed to create goals for him, create space for him, open up lanes for him. That's what Benzema did, and he did it to the best. The greatness of Karim Benzema lies in the fact that although he had this potential to be what we saw him to be last season, he had to sacrifice that to amplify what Cristiano was. So I guess, you on one hand, you understand the questions that are, because he's the one wearing 9, right? When somebody's wearing the 9, you expect goals from him. And if he's not scoring like 50 odd goals in like today's social media, you get clowned on. So for me, it is understandable there are questions, but then you have to look at it through the prism of what he was doing for Cristiano.
100%. I mean, I agree. The goal tally is a blemish on Benzema's playing days during that period. But, like, people used to show me the Torres compilations alongside Benzema's miss compilations, which I couldn't really respond to. All that I would tell them was, guys, wake up. We are numero uno, even though we haven't.
I mean, he does miss those chances, but his conversion rate is pretty good, on par with the top strikers in the world.
See, these are guys who would want to hate us, who doesn't watch La Liga week in, week out, Premier League fans, right? So
I if you want to hate Benzema, you can hate Benzema, but as many compilations you can make of the goals he missed, you can just make as many compilations of the brilliance.
The chest you have, I'm pretty sure you didn't have about Benzema when you used to, speak about
Man,
him back
I
then?
have been supporting Benzema. I've been standing this guy in 2009. So yeah, I've done some defending. I got called out for that a lot.
But
yeah,
for me, I didn't have enough evidence to back it. The only thing I could tell them is what you point out yourself, that Cristiano is kind of the main guy for getting us goals, and Benzema is basically the facilitator. And one prime point that I used to put forward, my saving grace was basically telling them, this is Real Madrid, yeah, and if Benzema was considered and also ran a guy that is just there to facilitate, just be second fiddle to Benzema, he wouldn't stay for like 5, 6 years on the trot and have major contributions in title
even
winning
beyond that, you
seasons.
have to see the type of goals Benzema scored, right? His technique,
Yeah.
his quality, it came out in those occasions. Not everybody can go and score those types of goals.
The bicycle kick against, was it Mallorca, Osasuna? Ajax,
Ajax.
the Champions League. The green kit.
Yeah, the green kit.
Sexy. I still remember it. I didn't see the game, but I could see only the highlights, back then for Champions League games, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I remember it vividly. Farouk, on to you, man.
A lot of counter-attacking of Real Madrid gets highlighted, but it's not possible if you don't have a striker like Benzema, dropping deep and facilitating.
100%. Yeah, man, on to you, Farouk. I can't understand why you have been so quiet.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you guys were just on and on and on, and I didn't want to break the flow and what is on. But anyways, for me personally, actually, one thing I've always highlighted about Benz is this. Like, the point is that we had Ozil till 13-14. You understand? Because the thing is that I think one argument that's always been made is that everyone points to that 100+ goal season that we had with when Cristiano was 60 goals, Benz was 30+, Higuain was 20+. You understand, and stuff like that. But the point is that after Ozil left the team, the roles had to be redefined. This is something really important because Ozil was the guy who made things work. Actually, he was that 10 who linked up the teams. At least this is what I came to see. And after that, Benzema had to I don't know if the world will be rearrange or reshape his style of play, or rather his understanding of the game. As I think he said this even, I think, before he won the Ballon d'Or, like the season he won, he was saying, like, when you have a guy who's going to give you 60, 70 goals a season, then you don't need to do, you don't need to do anything. Because even I remember, I can't recall exactly, was it in 2016 or was it in 2017 where he had 5 league goals, and
17, 18.
Okay,
17,
I mean,
18.
Yeah, he had 5 league goals there, and but then if someone actually watches the game, he knows what Benzema gives. You understand? A prime example goes to the sublime piece of skill he pulled against Atleti in the second leg of the semi-final of the Champions League. You understand? So I think a player like Karim Benzema is a player that's to not do justice to. He's. I mean, the point is, we go back and we look at a lot of fantastic players, and we check the stats and the goals and the assists that they made, and you actually see that that's actually quite trivial numbers. I mean, for example, I can just give a person off the top of my head. Like, when you look at, for example, Didier Drogba's numbers against the likes of Harry Kane and the others, like, it's garbage. But anyone who actually watched Didier do what he does, he knows that this guy is actually, at least in my opinion, better than Harry Kane or whatever the guys have to offer, at least on the market, and what's not.
You have to start drinking the Harry Kane Kool-Aid. He might be around this year, so.
I'll tell you for a fact. See, Harry Kane, aesthetically, technically, far better player, but the better big game player, hands down.
It's not about a big game player, bro. It's about the player who actually wins you leagues. That's the thing, you understand? Like, Harry Kane scores 30 goals, and then to what point?
Yeah, right now I'm just gonna let it pass. But next season, after Harry Kane,
this guy's gonna come
number 9.
me.
I'm just gonna come for you. I'm gonna say Harry Kane is better than everybody except Benzema.
I mean, well, the thing is that Harry, I'm not actually. It's not like kind of trying to shit on Harry Kane or anything like that. It's just like trying to pinpoint the fact that Harry, like, someone like Harry Kane is that the stats needs to back his play up. Otherwise, he's not there. You understand? But for a player like Karim Benzema, actually, just watching what he's done, you understand, the way he's adapted across playing in different front lines. So he played with Gonzalo Higuain, and then he came with Ozil, and then later on it was with Bale and Cristiano Ronaldo as well, and afterwards it's with Vini and Rodrigo. Like, the way he's adapted, the evolution that we've seen across different phases. You understand? goes to tell you that there is, a certain football intelligence that only few players in the history of the sport itself, can claim to, that they can make a claim, for. So that's the thing. Like honestly, like I think, as Mo said, I think you will never win, when it comes to haters and what is and what is not. But it's just so easy, like watching Karim Benzema, it's at least for someone like me, like it shows you the essence of football itself. You understand? It's something that because I remember I always have this argument with my brother, and I think I told Mo as well last year. Like my brother always argues that why is Benzema always outside of the 18? We need a presence in there. The man always drops deep and does this whatever what is and what is not. But that's the thing, that's a great thing about Karim Benzema. Like he doesn't need to be in the 18 to actually, affect the game. You understand? So honestly, it is a very, very huge loss that we will not, I think it's gonna take us a bit of time to understand what this actually means to the team, because finding a player of Benzema's ilk is gonna be so difficult and almost impossible actually to do. And but the thing is, life moves on eventually. So to make a new house, you have to break one old house down. So this is just part of the thing.
Yeah, Farouk is not big on deforestation, so break old houses. but to add what Farouk said, I think there was this thing in the Spanish press that came out like today. Everybody's eulogizing Benzema for leaving, so they said that Benzema taught us a way to play that we did not know existed. So I guess that is that. That's the point of it. Nobody knew like this is how you could play the center forward role. A lot of players have come, done their thing. Everybody does their thing and shows how they play football. I think Karim Benzema came and showed everybody, especially Real Madrid fans, like a different style of football, a different style of center forward play. And I guess now we all know what to expect. And I guess once we have seen this, we expect the next one to do the same thing. And if they don't do the same thing, we'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the thing is, when, was it Perez who made the remark that, Benzema is the amalgamation of Zidane and phenomenal? Yeah. When I used to listen to that the very first time, I used to think, maybe it's just, hyperbole, he's just hyping up someone. But the genuine turn of form and I should stress this, the initiative and responsibility that he took on once Cristiano left completely, hit that statement home, because I didn't expect him to step up through the gears like he did, post Cristiano. And that specific, rise to the occasion from Karim makes me completely believe that Karim will be a bigger loss than Cristiano, to be honest, because even during Cristiano's departure, like I was still feeling the similar way, but I don't know, this feels even more heavy. Maybe it's because
I think you have to realize that Karim is the system, right? Karim is the system of the Real Madrid team. We already see when Karim does not play, the system struggles, even though the focal point is Vinicius, and back then even Cristiano was the focal point. But without Karim, things that happen do not happen. Without Karim pulling off those strikers, those defenders away, those spaces aren't created for Vinicius or Cristiano run into. And right now, there's this thing I used to notice a lot in the 18-19 season, especially, when Karim did not drop deep, the ball wouldn't progress further. We had Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric, one of the greatest midfielders of all time, but still you needed Karim to progress the ball. So I guess that is something that's going to be a big miss again for next season, how to progress the ball. And I guess that's why they're looking for a more creative-minded player in those areas, maybe. But let's see what happens. For me personally, Karim is the system. So, it's very difficult to replace in the system overnight.
See, the one thing that I'm kind of happy about the Harry Kane links is the fact that their play styles are pretty similar.
They're similar. I completely agree with that. There's one key difference between the two. Karim Benzema, if you watch him play, links up a lot around the box. Harry Kane does not do that. Harry Kane is more direct. And Karim Benzema has the ability to.
But don't you think it's a byproduct of the Premier League and the way teams set up in the Premier League?
I think what happened with Benzema was the fact that he's never been pacey, right? And initially when he broke into the Lyon team, he was kind of playing out wide on the left wing. So when you don't have the pace to be players, you sort of start improvising. Not everybody can do that. Like we saw Marco Asensio, but he wasn't able to do that. But Benzema, that he figured out pretty early on his career that he had to play those 1-2s and get around players. So that was something that carried on, and that's something that we see. The only player who I see this currently in is Guiri for I think he's playing for Rennes, but he doesn't really have the presence of Benzema in the box and goal scoring ability.
Right. Hassan says, bro, I'm devastated. I opened Twitter this morning and the first thing I see is Comunicado Oficial. Yeah,
man, I was sleeping. I was sleeping, and I suddenly woke up, and it was first thing I see is Jacob's message, and Farouk insulting him for posting this first thing in the morning. So.
I wake up and then see like a bunch of notifications from WhatsApp, and then I knew that something big must have happened. Yeah, so my fears became true when I opened up Instagram. The first post was, like Hassan said, our Instagram page announcing, Benzema's departure. I just went numb. I just went, completely black, man, because in complete contrast to today, yesterday when I heard Asensio, I was like, boom, I was on the edit, right away to get something out. But once I saw Benzema's and I started to do something as a poster, Gracias Benzema, something like that, like my brain couldn't function, man. It's just, it just is different, like I'm really struggling for words to, really.
I get what you're saying, because if I had to do it today, I would have the same sentiment. I woke up in the morning and I was like, yeah, this something has changed, because like yesterday we were going with the Asensio poster, right? Because Asensio was leaving, and we were kind of expecting Zola, maybe his announcement might come and stuff like that. But today suddenly I had to wake up in the morning and thought, just let's do something simple and stuff like that. I had a picture that I had made for Benzema, like I anticipated this, so kind of held out today. But overall, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It was like pretty devastating to wake up and suddenly you see Benzema is leaving. This is the guy you kind of grew up with. You've seen Real Madrid, his whole Real Madrid career play out. So it's a loss. It's a huge loss. You really can't underplay it.
Ashik says, I woke up, saw the news, and then looked at my own bank account and felt like crap. Yeah, Ashik, you're in the wrong profession. I should say, Ashik, bro, maybe get into some, some underground shit, man. Maybe you can earn what Benzema earns. But yeah, like Farouk, when you look at that kind of money, 400 million in 2 years, I mean, you can't really say no.
I mean, yeah, but I think there is a money aspect as well. But I mean, the only player I can think of that comes to my mind, that's going to be an icon for the Arab nation is only Mohamed Salah. Most likely, maybe he's the only player that might be a more stronger pull in the Arab nation than Karim Benzema is, honestly.
No. I disagree with that. I think Benzema's been for a longer time, right? Maybe Sunaid knows it better because he's lived there.
Let me tell you something. Since Salah is a Misri, by a Misri meaning he's an Egyptian, the Arabs, they hate Egyptians, man. Yeah, they hate Egyptians hands down. So Karim Benzema is a much more popular name, 100%, like what Mo said.
So that's the thing, like, I feel like, there is always going to be that aspect to it as well, being, the icon of the whole Arab nation and, the World Cup beat of Saudi Arabia as well. But obviously, like, the money is something significant that it's, difficult to turn down as well. And I mean, it's one last big payday. So honestly, I can't really fault him, because what else is there to do that hasn't been done? I mean, from Karim's perspective, like, there is nothing to be done. He's done everything he can do, and as you guys, rightly pointed out before, like, he's someone who idolizes Zidane a lot, and going out at the at as high as possible. It's just that I just feel so, the only downside I feel about this is the fact that the last thing that they have done is the 4-0 defeat at the Etihad. Honestly, like, that's the only thing that is there. But for me, honestly, like, I wouldn't say I was actually emotionally devastated, because I mean, when Cristiano left, the only thing I didn't do was cry. Like, I was like, still, like, I was, because like, actually I got the phone call from someone and he told me on the bus, and I missed the stop I was gonna drop because I was in shock. You understand? So that was the thing, but honestly, Benzema one wasn't as, maybe because I'm actually these days not that engaged in that stuff, so maybe that's why. But honestly, like, I like
engaged in what stuff? What stuff?
That stuff.
Like, I mean,
what stuff?
I'm not engaged right now in like football that much. Like, this past 2 weeks, I have not been engaged in football like that much.
Okay. But so you're still engaged with the club, right? You still love the club, though, no?
I mean, I have a life that things happen in my life that obviously are more important than the club. Of course, definitely. Like, I mean, so because
My
of that.
God, this guy. Honestly, I got a question.
What,
His credentials at this point.
what I'm just trying to say to you guys is that
I'm just joking. I'm just
Benzema
joking.
living right now, I think for me would be more difficult to accept if he had left 2 years ago. For me now, it's more of acceptable because I feel like it's come to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a forced ending; it's just a natural cycle. Has been
Natural. Yeah.
You understand?
That's
So okay, I can
that's the right
understand
way
the
to put it.
abruptness of it, and as I said, like for me, the personal thing I feel the most is that I don't want Benzema to be remembered with the 4-0 at the Etihad. Honestly, this is the only
But
thing
I
feel.
told you in the post match right there and then that if a couple of players were to walk away, this will be a taint.
I will just say this to you honestly, like if Kroos had walked away, actually I wouldn't have felt anything. Like I felt like Kroos this and that. But I mean, like I grew up watching Benzema much more, you understand? So I feel like Benzema is more, I don't know, is more my person than for example, Tony Kroos is, for example. And look at
Why are you bashing Tony Kroos, man?
I'm not bashing him, man. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, that's Suned's job, that's not your job.
I don't bash anybody. Come on, relax. Right, go on, Farouk.
Well, yeah, man. Anyways, man, like honestly, I think you said it earlier, like, Big Steve turned out to be, I don't know, a preacher, a pastor, a pope, or whatever it is, man. He said 4-0, it became 4-0. He said, I'm sending your guys into, early retirement, and I mean, and that's the thing.
I mean, Benzema is not early retirement. He's only 35. He's with 36 this year. So.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe he just is, telling us the signs that everyone sees. Even we see it, but we share sentiment with the club, which kind of clouds our judgment at times. It's only natural. But
for me, the only thing is like if you like, for me, the only thing would be that Benzema has been hinting at this since January. I mentioned it right earlier in the podcast. I mentioned it again. This thing about leaving. He was asked about it in a conference. He was asked, in a press conference, Super Copa de España in Saudi Arabia of all places. They asked him, "Are you going to stay one more year?" And he says, "Let's take it day by day." That's when I knew something was off. This is how it's transpired, and
but really, I mean, in every high-profile press conference, when a big player is being, especially if he's coming to the end of his contract, obviously they're going to say diplomatic answers.
Just have to look back 2 months ago, right? Benzema, after winning the Ballon d'Or, like he did a couple of press conferences. He was asked like, "What about the future? Are you going to go back to Lyon?" And he said, "No, for my career, I have to retire at Real Madrid." That's what he said. And then 2 months later, this is January after the World Cup. I think something happened at the World Cup, the way it turned out for him. I personally, like being a Benzema fan, I realized the fact that World Cup meant a lot to him. He really was counting on it. He was pretty happy when he got the call back to the French team, because I think he really wanted to be. If you know about Benzema, like 2014, he dragged that France team into the quarterfinals, right? And this what was said that Benzema, you just have to bear through these years because that France team was garbage. In 2018, there's going to be a good crop. And I think he really wanted to lead that France team to the World Cup in 2018. He couldn't do that. So I think he felt like 22 was his redemption, but it didn't work out. And then Deschamps stays on after the World Cup. And, that was pretty much the end for him. He knew he wasn't going to go back to the Euros and stuff like that. I think if Zidane had been appointed the French national team manager, probably he would have had hope and maybe he continued at Real Madrid. But ever since those turn of events happened, I think he lost motivation. Personally, that's what I feel. And, Zidane's influence on Benzema's career cannot be underrated. If it hadn't been for Zidane, probably Benzema wouldn't have continued at Real Madrid. So it's not a surprise that he follows in his footsteps and leads at a time when he feels he's on a high.
Yeah, I also think without Zidane, actually, I don't think Benz actually lasted that much at Real Madrid as well.
Well, what a fucking World Cup does to you, right? One of the worst, one of the most cursed World Cups that I've witnessed in my lifetime, the way it panned out.
PSG finally had the last laugh at Madrid.
I don't know, so see, let's go back and if we had a time machine and Benzema actually gets selected, I mean, he got selected, but he gets to play the entire World Cup and France reach the final. I'm pretty confident that if Benzema and Mbappe and all those guys play together, Argentina are blown away. And if Benzema wins the World Cup, then he is in a much better run of form, much better mood, maybe much better performances for us in turn. You know, he could have stayed one more year if that was the case. But yeah, man, things didn't really pan out like we wanted it to, like he wanted it to, especially. Dennis the Great says Ronaldo's departure definitely hurt more. I was in my late teens, 17 years old, but I'll 100% miss Benzema. Kane to Madrid, I would love Kane, but don't see Kane leaving England. I'll be honest. Well, I don't know, man. I was of the similar opinion as well, but it seems like, you know, if anybody can pry Kane away from Tottenham, it could be us at this rate. I don't know. And the prospect of actually having expressions on the podcast, man, that just gives me, you know, all sorts of dopamine. Honestly,
but guys, is it worth it to like to, you know, go after something that's very difficult to attain and then eventually miss out on this? I just feel like the whole Kane thing is a very
I was never a fan of paying 100 million for Benzema. I mean, for Harry Kane, in the beginning, but you should understand, Farouk, that so many people are basically relying on him moving to the Bernabeu. So many people's hopes are pinned on Harry Kane at this moment in time.
I mean, the point is, I feel like 100 million isn't outrageous because we paid the same thing for Hazard. He had 1 year left on his contract or something similar, exactly. So I'm not sure what it was. I mean, but the thing is, just what I feel is that it's going to be a very difficult, you know, approach. And then the thing is that we're like now left with just two attackers. You know, I feel like it's better to have, you know, I don't know, a better plan. I don't know what you guys will suggest as an alternative, but I feel like it's maybe time to move away from the whole thing. As Mo said, it's going to be difficult, you know, to build a new system overnight. But I think it's time, you know, that we start to think of, you know, starting to build an alternative system with different kind of players. Honestly, that's the thing. Like trying to pry away Kane will, you know, I don't know what the news or whatever, but it will require a lot of persuasion on Kane's side first, because he believes that, and I also believe that he can break Shearer's record in the EPL. And the second thing is dealing with Daniel Levy as well. So this is thing, like it's looking very, very complicated. I mean, okay, maybe it's because I'm a layman, you know, I don't understand, you know, the dynamics of how they negotiate on the market. But
bro, you're a layman. You're a layman. That's probably the understatement of the year.
He's a humble kid, man. Come on, don't bully him. But friendly reminder again, people, that this is a live call-in show. We haven't received a single call yet, but we're still keeping the conversation running. So if you guys want to join in on the conversation, the link is in the description of the video. Yeah, man, the room meeting and passcode are right there. So yeah, man, feel free to join us.
But guys, well, one thing is that if actually Kane joins us, do you guys think then like the likes of Mike Karims will now start to praise us as well? And then we don't become the enemy of all the English pundits? I mean, the English captain plays for us, so we should become the favorite of the national media in England as well.
The future English captain might play for us as well.
I mean, not until it reaches that point, but I mean, Kane is the guy. He's the real deal for now. I feel like if he joins us, that's when at least one positive. We become favorites automatically again for everything.
I don't know, man. They might actually hate us for taking those English players away.
especially Jude. I'm pretty sure nobody gives a fuck about Harry Kane. At least at this point, you know, everyone would want them at their club, but they know realistically, you know, Levy's not going to sell, Harry Kane to a Premier League club unless it's for some ludicrous.
I mean,
you know,
it would be a pretty huge ego blow for all of those people in the English media, right? Who are always talking about how Premier League is the greatest league in the world. Nobody can trump its, pull and stuff like that. You go to England, you go to English journalists, and nobody will be prepared to accept that Real Madrid is the biggest club in the world. For them, it will always be United. So, having Real Madrid take both their captain and future captain is going to be a body blow to their ego, and you don't know how people react when their egos get beaten.
Yeah, I mean, after last year, I mean, the public perception of Real Madrid as a club has 100% changed. The way we want it, I'm pretty sure. Yes, there'll be a couple of salty, geezers who would say, Liverpool or Manchester United are, the biggest club in the world and blah, blah, blah. But they know the magnitude of what we are just levels above. Right. Yado's in the chat. He says this season was disappointing in all phases for Benzema, though it's sad but understandable. The injury situation didn't help. He came back a different player compared to the Ballon d'Or Zima. Wordplay. Lol says, hopefully we get Kane. That's the perfect replacement. Ashik says, didn't feel that hard with Cristiano leaving. 100 million for 33-year-old footballer is great business. I mean, nobody was fucking looking at what we're getting, man. Let's be honest, Ashik. Ashik is an older guy. He has seen, since seen the days of Emilio Butragueño and Hugo Sanchez. So for him, it'll be a different, kettle of fish. But for us, we're pretty young. We were never looking at what we're getting for Cristiano. I'll be honest.
I think a lot of people were actually attached with Cristiano because they started supporting the club because of Cristiano. So I guess it was more hurt. For me, I've been supporting Real Madrid like a little bit more than that. And for me, Benzema was like, is somebody I really wanted at the club, and I followed his career. So he kind of hurts more for Cristiano. But I totally understand why people would be.
Before I actually started following the club, I used to hear the name Benzema. So that's how I kind of understand the level of talent he was, how so many clubs, especially, the great clubs of the time, places like, Old Trafford, where really, really craving for someone like Karim Benzema.
I think Rio said it best, right? Rio Ferdinand, when he said that Sir Alex Ferguson wanted him badly. And even Jean-Michel Aulas, the president of Olympique Lyon, he said that, they had a better offer from United, but Benzema said he wanted to go to Real Madrid, so he came to Real Madrid. And that goal that he scored against United in the Champions League is legendary.
Yeah, 100%. How old was he? 19, no?
Yeah, when he came to Madrid, he was 21, so probably 20 or something.
Yeah, 19 or 20, yeah. Yadu says, and the offer was just mad. Even 1% of what they're offering is life-changing. I guess he's referring to, Karim Benzema's contract with Etihad. Ashik says, Kane and Bellingham. Sorry, Mo?
No, nothing.
Ashik says, Kane and Bellingham. English team at Real Madrid, they're going to light up like the world beaters that England are. Mighty English team.
Yeah,
I guess that's sarcasm.
That would be my worry as well. We had this period in time at Real Madrid when there was a lot of Dutch influence, and Dutch football team are huge chokers. So Real Madrid of that time, like, pretty bad. I hope it doesn't get repeated right now.
But people like Seedorf were an anomaly, I guess, right?
I mean, we had Van der Vaart, we had Schneider, we had Robben. And it was like continuous round of 16 exits. So
I was a huge fan of that Dutch team, honestly. I still have a soft spot, but fuckers like, Van Dijk has completely taken that away. But yeah, it is what it is. Dennis the Great says, I just wonder if Daniel Levy will put a mad price on Kane. You wonder. Dennis. You wonder.
There's a journalist in England called Miguel Delaney. I don't know if you guys know about him.
Miguel Delaney is a footballer, no?
he quoted
a price. He used to play for Dortmund.
He quoted a price.
No, not that. He's a writer, I think, for the Telegraph or something like that.
He quoted 200 million pounds for Harry Kane, and I was
they
can keep him for that.
Euro. Not happening. What was that, Farouk?
No, I said it's a crazy number. I actually read what Mo was saying earlier today as well. Like it's impossible to do. Like that's why I'm saying like there is no point wasting time over like something that's looking
Even
if this Operation Kane has,
I think it's going to be closer to 100 million pounds probably. Now it's up to us like how we negotiate it.
Yeah, man. Like even if we have a 90% chance of getting him, to actually get him in, we'll have to work our ass off for 2 months, completely focusing on this bald, I don't know, Tesco Pitbull, in Daniel Levy.
Luka Modric actually talked about it. Daniel Levy almost covered his move to Real Madrid. He
sabotaged his move to Chelsea as well.
I mean, Chelsea's understandable. Real Madrid not so much because he promised him a move this summer, and
Chelsea and Spurs, they go way back, right? Ashik says soon we'll get Reece James. We'll get the English winning DNA. Yeah, Reece James is a pipe dream. That's never going to happen. Deron Hunter says next season just look out for Kroos and Modric to start every game. There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Farouk will stop coming on the podcast if that happens. I mean, Farouk will stop coming on the podcast either way, but
Oh yeah, true.
we probably have to call the military and keep tabs on it.
But the point is like if you get Jude and Fede stays, like obviously they can start every game. That's the thing. Like I mean, they're not strikers. Like they're not attackers. That's the whole
I
point.
just
Like,
hope he doesn't play Cruz DM again, man.
well, that's the thing more like then what do you do? Like I mean, the point is we all know that Chouameni's natural game is not a DM. Are you gonna play?
I think
Kamavinga
Kamavinga has to play there.
Well, actually, I don't like that idea, honestly. To be honest, I prefer
Kamavinga.
I think Kamavinga is pretty good in the deeper areas, playing in half spaces and stuff. So.
Kamavinga, Chouameni as the pivot. Bellingham. This is Kroos and Modric. Without Kroos and Modric, Kamavinga, Chouameni as the pivot. Bellingham as the AM would be nice. I feel like it could work great.
Yeah, it could work. We just have to see it in action. That's all.
Yeah. Hassan says, Man United with 3 Champions Leagues. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I still remember, when Benzema actually, we won the 3-peat. That was my go-to, in our group chats. I used to tell them, Benzema, the guy who used to mock, has 4 Champions Leagues. Manchester United in the entire fucking history has 3. Then they used to say, oh, how can you compare a player to a club? And I used to ask them, how fucking ashamed are you to even, contemplate that? This is what you guys have succumbed to, But anyways,
I mean, Mariano has more Champions League titles than Arsenal.
I mean, Arsenal was never a European great.
That's true. They had that one chance.
A caveat. Yeah. So Arsenal were never really, a continental, great. So you can't really
guys,
slide them further.
we have low waiting in the waiting room. I'm just gonna let him in.
Right? Yeah, go for it. We got to ask Lol's actual name. This is gonna be interesting, for the first time. Name reveal.
Do we have to do a ceremony and stuff?
Maybe. I don't know.
He's currently connected He's connecting to his audio currently.
Okay. Just gonna drink some water. Just give me a second.
I wonder why Sunil has to hide himself when he's drinking water.
He doesn't want people to see his mouth.
Yeah. See, I have the teeth like those sharks in Jaws.
I was more thinking along the lines. Nobody wants to, like, you don't want anybody to see your water bottle. Maybe it's one of those Hello Kitty bottles and stuff like that.
No, it's vodka. That's why.
Hey, no, you there?
Is it working?
Yeah,
it is.
Oh, is my video working?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Oh well. Yeah. So, what's the conversation?
The conversation is pretty mixed, man. But before we get into it, what's your actual name? Let's hear it.
My actual name. Raul Milonzo.
Raul Milan?
Milonzo.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
nice to meet you, man.
I was born in Spain, but I'm South African, so I moved back to South Africa. But I was born in Madrid.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice mix. I'm pretty sure. Just like Dennis, Spain and England. It's nice combination. But yeah, man. This the conversation. We were just basically going off by the comments because the chat was blowing up. But tell us your thoughts, man. This day was supposed to be so magnificent, going by how the season started. We realistically should have been looking at the Champions League final, but we are looking down the barrel of so many great players leaving altogether, and the pick of the bunch being Karim Benzema, second all-time goal scorer, top all-time assist maker, one of the greats of the game. How do you feel?
For me, outside of the Champions League, but just focusing on Benzema. For me, I knew he was going to leave because, the effort that he was showing wasn't the same as other seasons. For me, when I look at Benzema, he's more of a Zidane type of character where when he doesn't have much more, you can tell. It's like in 2006 with Zidane. Club-wise, he just wasn't the same, but internationally, he was. Like everyone says, oh, Zidane ran it back in 2006, but that was the same Zidane of 2005, 4, and before.
Yeah.
But after that, you saw him, he would miss a lot of games. You'd hear about injuries. It's the same thing with Benzema currently. It's just like a new generation version of it. But with Benzema, he had bad luck with the national team. So I knew, he's definitely leaving. I thought he would retire, actually, if they had won the World Cup. But how I see it is like, at the end of the day, it was time to move on as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with him, about the motivation aspect. We touched upon it, especially after the World Cup. I think the motivation just wasn't there. And
The drop off. Did you expect it? Lol. I mean, you pretty sure did. Just by the way you kind of put it up. But talk to me about the sense of loss. Are you feeling a sense of loss? Because I sure am, for once.
Oh, 100%. When it was presented at the Bernabeu, I actually went. So.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. So I was part of Benzema FC since the beginning, and I remember when he would score like 5 goals in a season, everyone wanted him out. I remember people were talking about, bring Aguero, bring this player and this player, and at the end of the day, to see him prove everyone wrong, especially with last season, finally winning the Ballon d'Or, it was different. But how I also view it is that with someone like Benzema is the other 100% there or the 100% not? Because even if he was scoring 5 goals, he was still there with his link up. His link up was still the highest level. Like everyone
super elite. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of us used to make excuses for his lack of goals and say, but he's playing a center forward because he was that good at link up, and it worked. But he was actually just having a poor season.
Yeah.
I think
completely.
It's a pretty fair assessment, right? Benzema's, you could see, when Benzema's not moving around dynamically, he doesn't have that movement. You can tell something's wrong with Benzema. Even when he gets injured, he's being rushed back. You can see that this guy's not fit because the movement isn't there.
It's all about the fluidity, right? With Benzema.
Fluidity and dynamism.
100%.
Yeah. And another thing I realized with Benzema is that this season is that even when he scored goals, you could tell it didn't mean as much to him, because for him, it was more of, I'm doing a job, not necessarily, I need to carry this team. Because what we saw in, for example, 2019, it was Benzema saying, you guys are saying Bale, you guys are saying Isco, you guys are saying this, I'm going to be the one. Kind of like what we see currently in Vinicius. That's why
there's something to prove.
Yeah, that's why in many aspects, like it's sad to lose Benzema, but I feel like a lot of people don't realize that our youngsters have gained that mentality that I need to step up.
100%.
Because we even hear Rodrigo now say, it's my time now.
Yeah, especially in the last few games, right?
Yeah. And this is a Rodrigo that a lot of people were starting to say, does he have that mentality? Like, because Vinny has that mentality, even though he would miss 1,000 chances, he would still go and go and go. With Rodrigo, it would be like, you just not be consistent.
Rahul, actually, we have Ashik in the chat. He's in the waiting room as well. I'm just gonna let him in as well. So thank you for joining, man. It was nice to have you on.
Yeah.
100%. Lol, big him up, man. Big him up.
Yeah, it was actually nice to hear you speak again, for the first time.
Lol has been one of our earliest people, on the channel, man. Big yourself up, man. Yeah, man. Much love, bro. Much love.
Okay, easy.
Take it easy, Raul. Lol, big him up, man. Big him up.
Yeah, it was actually nice to hear you speak again, for the first time. Yes, and now I can feel what you're talking about.
Hey, actually, can you just mute your YouTube?
Man. Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I think he's good now.
No, he muted the whole thing. Like you muted yourself actually, Ashik. Like you should mute the other screen, I think. Or the other
just mute the YouTube window.
I just did.
Okay.
Basically,
welcome to
finally you get to hear my voice, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Welcome to the show, Ashik.
Ashik, like I got one good news this morning. It was about, Ancelotti and Brazil people, and this you coming on today is the second big one, man. Honestly.
Yeah. Farooq doesn't hold back.
Ashik is our OG guy, man. So having him here actually means something, honestly. Like, see, Raul as well, thank for coming. Well, Ashik is my guy. We have banter going on between me and him, actually.
Pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. It's a lot of fun listening to you guys. I was actually thinking about not joining because I enjoy listening to you guys, actually taking your opinion rather than presenting mine. But it's a lot of fun. Like it's good to see other people's view, right? As fans, different 100%. People like different take. Like then you actually get a different perspective, and you understand. You once you start looking at it from other people's perspective, we don't always look at the same thing. Like somebody might go and say, oh, I don't think this particular player is good. Like me personally, I wouldn't want Harry Kane in Real Madrid. But I could, right?
Really?
I wouldn't want him, no.
Yeah, no, actually came with the nuclear missiles, right? He came with the
There you go. This man is guaranteed entertainment, but enlighten us, man. Like, break it down for us. So why don't you exactly don't want Harry Kane? What is the reason?
So I don't think Harry Kane's a bad player. I don't think Harry Kane is I think Harry Kane is a great guy.
Great guy. Oh my God, you're fucking shitting on him.
No.
That's a violation.
If you actually look at as a captain, as a leader, what he did when the whole racism thing happened with England.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Kane and Southgate did a lot more than what the German captain and German coach did to protect Ozil.
100%.
They didn't do anything. They left him out to dry. They basically completely let him fight it on his own, whereas Southgate and Kane actually stood up. They're the leaders right away. There was no compromise. That's pretty classy. That shows a lot of character in the players. I don't find Kane to be the right guy, and I could be wrong, because we play in a different way, right? And if you look at the way Benzema moves and everything, Kane's a poacher. Kane doesn't have those technical abilities that Benzema has, and we're used to playing that way. Benzema's dribbler. Kane, when was the last time you saw Kane actually dribble? He will do those link up, but he's different kind of player. The other thing is that English players, when they come to Real Madrid or when they come to Spain, look at the right back that Atletico bought, Trippier, right?
Trippier, yeah.
He left as soon as he got a chance. He left. Atletico obviously won't be paying as much as Newcastle would, but he left because they feel sick. They're very comfortable in their marshy, rainy English weather.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand how you get turned off by the sun.
Yeah, they're almost allergic to sun. That's why they don't win the World Cups, right? Because it's a summer tournament.
That's a valid point,
So it's a risk. I mean, maybe he'll be successful, but it's a huge risk. And whereas Bellingham is a different issue, I'm very iffy about Bellingham coming in. He's coming with injury. I just hope this doesn't.
This guy's my guy. This guy's my guy.
It's a huge risk, especially in a transition period, getting players, because we're not a state-backed club. So
Yeah.
it's not like we can afford to just, buy players and those guys are gone where we can experiment with players and just keep spending money. So we have to, this is why I think, and having Perez is, it's true that we haven't bought a lot of players in these transfer seasons, but we also have to look at the flip side that smart business kept us solvent, unlike some clubs I shall not name.
We all know who they are, man.
Yeah, I don't need to. Our club, we didn't have to mortgage our club, turn it into a banquet hall, turn it.
Imagine bending yourself over for Spotify. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Actually, no, let me ask you this, like, you actually make a very valid point in the sense that, like, the British players don't, travel well, like they, even we have been burnt, it's the whole Michael Owen thing, Jonathan Woodgate as well, so just to name a few. But what would you suggest then? What would be your approach, to replacing Benzema eventually then?
At this point?
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest. If you look out, that's what I want. The honest thing is that when I saw that news in the morning, I'm looking at it, I'm like, really, Jose Lu? That's what I was thinking. I'm like, who do you sign? Like,
Jose Lu.
like, this is it. I'm like, who do you sign? I'm looking at that. I'm like, okay, who do we sign exactly? I mean, unless we just basically we'll start pulling our own levers. Who do you? There is absolutely no one to sign unless they go temporarily with, say, proven solid striker who's probably for 2-3 years. If they still want to go the Haaland and Mbappe route, then maybe 2 years, sign someone for 2-3 years. Then Kane's not your guy, because Kane's one of those guys you're gonna want to sign for 4 or 5 years, because at 29 he still can give you he's the kind of the way he plays, he can still give you 3-4 years. Because he's a poacher, he's an assassin in the box kind of player. Whereas if you're actually looking for 2-3, if you want to buy 2-3 years and just temporarily stopgap situation, then go with someone established. But sure, he's in his 30-31. Like I really don't know who to talk about. I don't know, Sadio Mane, because he's not staying at Bayern. Bayern's got problems with him, right? So that's one route to go, or maybe take a chance. Risk it. Go with our youth. Bring in Arribas, bring in A-Rod, and go with it. Have faith in that youth program. They become stars in other clubs. It hurts, man. It literally hurts seeing our boys, our product, go become star in some other club. It hurts.
The main thing is that nobody waits for, nobody gives our youngsters any time to bed in. They're just thrown in the deep end and just expected to perform. The striking situation, I mean, like, we all know how it's going to go, right? We're going to maybe pursue Kane for a bit. If it doesn't work out, then it's going to be someone like Firmino. I don't understand how that's going to go.
Firmino's out. Firmino's not a target anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
He's out, yeah? Okay,
out.
So who is in the equation now?
I think Kai is the guy, I think.
No, Kai's not going to play as striker. No.
He's not a
I
striker
think
by any means.
Kai's going to play as a 9, but he's not going to play as a 9 because he's going to play as a 9 similar to what he did at Chelsea, but he's not going to be asked to get to goal. That's what I think is going to happen. Because what else do you think? Real Madrid is going to start playing as a number 10 in the team?
I'll tell you one thing, Farouk. I never agree with Ali Moreno on ESPN. Never. They annoy me, but it's one of those, guilty things that you want to listen to them because you want to be annoyed by them.
Yeah.
But today, Ali Moreno probably had the best moment in ESPN when Dan Thomas asked him about Kai Havertz for Real Madrid, and it's his reaction. I'm like, this never happened that I was happy with his reaction, but this was a priceless reaction. He was mad.
Yeah, he said he's garbage.
Put Kai Havertz in the same sentence as Real Madrid. He was upset.
See, simple as. See, I personally was a huge fan of Kai Havertz, yeah. But the progression that he has had in his career since winning the Champions League, I'm not a fan of, man. Like, the more I watch him, it seems like he doesn't know where the goal is. At least you need to know to finish off the easiest of chances. I know he's top scorer for Chelsea or something this season, but come on, man, the levels have dropped so much.
The thing here is, Ashik, as you said right now, you actually made a very, good layout of the stuff is that if the club is going to go the whole Haaland and Mbappe route, you understand, you need a stopgap situation. And you yourself right now, I mean, I'm in a similar position to you because I think and think and think, and I don't know who is the solution to this. Who's going to be the solution? So we have to go in a more indirect route. And honestly, like, okay, I know that Kai is not, the greatest thing out there, but I know that also he's a very intelligent player who can link up who can provide a platform for Vini and Rodrigo to shine, honestly. As long as we don't ask him to be the primary goal getter, I think Kai can do a job for that 1-2 years that you're talking about.
For me personally, I think if Kai is going to be the goal scorer, I'm not going to be happy about the signing. Playing him as a 9, playing him as a starter, I don't really know about. Maybe
the objective.
Maybe growing into the starting position, yeah, we can see about that. But as a starter, I'm not happy. And what about the other stuff that Ashik said about, Kane not settling in? That was something actually that Guti said on Analysing as well. He said that when Michael Owen came to Real Madrid, he had a lot of trouble settling in. And he raised the same point. When English players come to Real Madrid, they have issues. So we don't really know what to expect. And another point that I would like to raise is the fact that, we signed Eden Hazard at 29, we signed Kaká around the same age, and we signed, like, we're going to probably be signing Harry Kane around 30. So that's the same issue, We ended up paying off Kaká's last year contract. We ended up paying off Eden Hazard's last year contract. My biggest fear would
Harry Kane is the same thing. I feel like, because, you never know.
He already has a history of ankle issues, right? So you never know what happens with that. And then another aspect, like what Ashik said, Real Madrid should look for a stopgap. I think what Real Madrid want to do is, like, Harry Kane is a stopgap. He's going to be here for like 2 years and probably flip him off back to England, maybe United or somebody. That's probably what they're banking on, because I don't really see Harry Kane lasting at Real Madrid for more than 2 or 3 years, personally.
The other thing about Harry Kane is there's going to be a bidding war, because Manchester United is also going to be in there. However, a good thing is that Daniel Levy doesn't want to sell him to an EPL team. So that's where Madrid has an advantage, right? As far as Kai Havertz goes, honestly, if it was 20 years ago, German striker, fine. I would not. German strikers are right now radioactive. Germany has not produced a striker since Miroslav Klose retired. Big game strikers are not being produced in Germany anymore. For some odd reason, I don't know what the hell happened. Like they used to produce prolific strikers until Miroslav Klose, and then Klose closed it.
100%. Like Jad Mola, like there's so many great German strikers, and now like you look at Musiala, he's not a striker either. Really, Fulkrug, that's what Germany has stooped down to. I mean, but the thing is, Harry Kane, if
nobody's
he comes
producing
in,
strikers, right? Really, neither Spain.
Yeah.
Even Brazil doesn't have a brilliant striker coming off. Unless Enric does something special.
Yeah. That's a valid point.
Ironically, Brazil and Germany were known for producing strikers. They don't produce strikers, and Italy was known for producing defenders. They don't produce defenders.
Yeah. I guess the landscape of what we know, what we knew growing up, has completely, changed for the better or the worse, in some departments everywhere. But finally, Ashik, your thoughts on Karim Benzema, man. Tell us. You're way older than us. You know what it's like to be the top guy for Real Madrid. And Karim Benzema, where do you rank him among the greats?
So I enjoy watching Karim Benzema. Honestly, his game, it's not just about scoring; it's just the things he does. If you ask me, amongst the players I watched, I've never watched Di Stefano and Puskás and all those guys. I didn't watch it, obviously. They're probably my grandfather's generation. But if I was to go with the players I've watched, I definitely would. He's top 10 definitely amongst the players I watched. And I would say amongst the strikers, top 5. In my all-time favorite strikers for Real Madrid would be Karim Benzema, Ronaldo R9, obviously, because, Raul because of his intelligence, Butragueno because just elegance, right? So these are the 4 players out of the top 5 strikers. Remember, Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't a striker, so I don't really put him in the striker category, but these would be my top strikers. Like it's not just Benzema's ability to sacrifice, change his game, because his whole thing when he said that, a guy scores 30, 40 goals a season, of course I'm going to play second fiddle to him, because it's all about the team winning. That shows character, that the guy wants to win. He wants collective win. He's not about individual wins, right? Like, if you were to ask me if I was to build a team today and I had an offense to pick, would I pick Cristiano Ronaldo or Benzema? Now, here's where Knights are going to be out at me. I'd actually pick Benzema first, because I'm going to look at overall what you give me. Are you making other players better? Cristiano Ronaldo is going to give me the 40 goals. Yeah. But I need to know that, is it sustainable? Because if he leaves, I end up with nothing. But Benzema improved. Benzema is part of the reason Vinny has improved, right? Benzema is part of the reason.
100%.
Right? He's also a mentor. So overall, yeah, definitely top 5 for me amongst the strikers I've watched, because I can't really go back to the players I haven't watched, right?
Yeah, 100%. Anything to talk about regarding Asensio? Mariano and Hazard are basically non-factors, so we wouldn't go there. But Marco Asensio has been.
Mariano. I wish you were going to go with Mariano. I love Mariano.
You have a fetish for his hair. I get it. But this is not the platform. This is SFW shit, man. Honestly.
Look at his career, man. What a decorated career Mariano.
People would die for it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and he got paid to do that, for
100%.
I think Mariano is the player who lasted the longest without playing as much, at Real Madrid.
How did he though? So many factors went the right way for him. But even then,
it's the contract. Nobody wanted to buy him, and he was happy with that contract.
You could just terminate the contract, right? Like, it is so groundbreaking.
I mean, why would you want to pay like 20 odd million to get rid of him?
20 million, really?
Yeah,
okay.
he's earning like 5 million per year, like I think after tax or something.
So
4 or 5. Although he's the lowest paid player, but he earns more than what Milan pays their highest players. So like now, Milan obviously paying more to Leo, but yeah, he gets a lot of money even when he had offers he refused to leave. So
don't tell me he earned more than Giroud. Yeah, my God, that'll be mad.
He also has more Champions League than Giroud, by the way.
That's insane. Yeah, that's mad stuff right there, man. But yeah,
and he had more ponytails than Giroud.
As far as 100%. Asensio goes, I remember when Asensio was going to be signed, and I think you guys saw that whole video where before Asensio signed, there's a documentary on Amazon about Real Madrid. There's actually when Asensio was going to be signed, Florentino Perez told Asensio's mother that I will sign your boy one day, right? This was going on, and he always wanted to play for him. So there's a soft spot for him there. But I think that knee injury really, knee injuries that early in your career can be devastating. And I think it slowed him down a bit. And one of the things, and Asensio actually started off as a midfield. He's actually a midfielder. So playing him in the wing, I don't think he fares well. I mean, he's on and off. But every time he played actually a little further behind, you'll see that he I think there are games where he had hat-trick. That's because he came into midfield. He does a lot of midfield. Exactly. He is originally a midfielder, not a winger, really, right? But losing Asensio, I think it's good for him. I think he needs regular football. He's still young. It doesn't matter which team he goes to. He's definitely going to be, like I keep saying, as a joke, that he's an upgrade for PSG in that position.
Or Messi.
Whoever the hell he is.
I didn't cast that, Now I get it.
Clearly he's an upgrade because the player he's replacing is going to Saudi. I mean, Saudi league, pub league. But we don't talk about public players. but no, I think it's good for Asensio. I mean, Messi, Cristiano, Benz, and them, they're going to make their money. They're towards the end of their career. Asensio is not there. Asensio needs to play regular football. He's going to get European football. I think the pressure is a little lower if in PSG compared to what the pressure is in. It's not easy, right? Mentally, Real Madrid is by far one of the toughest team to play for, if not the toughest, right? You're going to get booed by your own fans. It's just we are spoiled by our success. The
100%.
We're cursed for that, right? We are going to boo our players because you know what? For every loose ball, you have to fight. It's not about just playing pretty football. It's also fighting for and grinding out. Like, do whatever it has to do. You have to do to win. So for Asensio, that's tough. I feel that was tough after injury. It's not easy. I mean, yeah, he scored a goal though right off the bat as soon as he came in. But
yeah.
easy. Right? So remember, you guys remember Hesse?
Yeah.
His whole career
exactly.
that season, he was having a career season, and that one injury was the end of that, right? So it's I think it's a good for him. Like, you know, we are fans. We don't like to see our players go away from our team, but we also have to look at it that we are also their fans. We need to always give them, you know, wish them the best because we want these players to be successful, right? That's what makes the game beautiful, right?
Yeah, exactly.
100%. 100%. Yeah, man. Well, thank you for joining us, Ashik. It's nice to see you in your flesh. You know, finally. It's been a long time coming. But yeah, man, pick up yourself. Keep tuning in, bro. Your support is what, you know, makes the show.
Yeah, no, enjoy it. Keep it up, guys.
Definitely,
I'm still going to be
definitely.
listening to the show once I get off anyway, so you'll still see my comments. Great work, guys, and looking forward to next season as well.
Truly
Yeah,
humbling,
man.
bro.
Thanks, man.
Much love, Ashik. Take care. Right. So you see, Ashik isn't just witty on text. You know, he has his bazookas loaded. You know, even in person.
But I like the point he made about Asensio. You know, in Spanish, Asensio actually has a nickname called Asensio. That's kind of a play on the Spanish word for absence.
Shit.
You know, Ashish touched upon the fact that Asensio, when he suffered that knee injury, it sort of went downhill for him. But I would say that even before that, he sort of had like a mixed bag season. You know, because he refused to take up the responsibility. And I think that's the point about Asensio. Ashik said that for playing for Real Madrid, you need to have a character, right? You need to have a quality, ready to be fighting, ready to take that leap, you know, of leadership. That thing Asensio lacked. I never after that injury, he realized that and he tried to change it, but it didn't work out for him.
But I never saw Asensio as the guy who would shy away from a challenge.
It's not about shying away from a challenge. It's not about shying away from a challenge. It's more about taking responsibility when the going gets tough, you know, leading the team from the front. Asensio tried to do that in 1920, but, you know, he got injured against Arsenal and then that was that.
I think after, you know, the whole Cristiano left in, like, there was, I actually also realized that as well. Like, I think it's something that Mo also said, that it's not about, you know, it's just about like not caring and not showing up. You know, the thing is that, for example, you know, as you guys, you know, talked about, even Ashik pointed to the fact that, you know, Ashik, Raul rather, like the fact that our players like Rodrigo and Vinicius know that, okay, it's time to step up. You understand? I just felt like Asensio wasn't willing to take that next step. You understand? He wasn't willing to, you know, do what was necessary to go to that next level.
Or maybe he just wasn't that good, bro. Hands down, you know?
I think he was. Honestly, I think he was. I just feel like, obviously, injuries were there, and people get complacent, honestly. I feel like I do genuinely feel that he was, honestly.
And in position as well, you know, because Asensio's best qualities are in the half spaces and getting into the box. If you stick him out wide, that takes away a lot from his game.
Well, yeah, fair points, I guess. We'll be actually talking a bit more about Asensio and general, you know, guys like Hazard and Mariano.
Yeah, please don't start referring to him as Asensio.
I mean,
I won't.
What's there to talk about Hazard? There is nothing, man.
No, but I'm just saying it for the sake of it, you know, just housekeeping shit. So yeah, we'll be on for another like 20 odd minutes. So yeah, guys, like if you want to join in on the conversation, the link is in the description of the video. The Zoom ID and the room passcode is in the description below. Yeah, man, feel free to join us. Reese Birak says, make up the panel, FA Cup champions, and one more to go till the historic treble. Well, good luck with that, Reese. You better get the job done. Danielson is back. Nice to see you again, bro. He says, no, it's a no for me, guys. Kai Havertz is too meaty, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree.
I think that's, you know, what I said about Asensio, you know, the inability to take the leadership role. I think that's one of my bigger doubts with Havertz. Ale Moreno, you know, now that Ashik has brought him on the TV, that was actually one of the points he made. He said that this guy lacks the ability to take charge when things get tough.
Ale
Even
Moreno
at
used to
Chelsea.
be a dickhead, but nowadays he makes so much more sense. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I mean,
ever
the
since he was
the-
asked about
the- the-
Havertz.
The thing about the whole ESPN guys is that they're a bunch of stupid guys that actually even one less stupid guy becomes like Einstein in between them. So it's not necessarily about that.
But Ale Moreno, I have a liking for him nowadays. I don't know why. Okay, but it's just
I-
Don't worry. After
I
2
find him
weeks,
a
you will
prankster.
understand.
He's sort of like this witty, naughty guy.
yeah. Danielson says Mario Gomez was also good in his prime. Yeah, Mario Gomez was
Gomez was
a
good.
tank of a striker. Can do it like left foot, right foot. Super clinical. Danielson says to me, Benzema has literally been what of the other strikers I need in my team as a coach, guys. One of these strikers I need in my team as a coach. I didn't understand that, Danielson.
Maybe one of the players he builds around.
Oh, okay, maybe, yeah. So give you Benzema and 10 pieces of.
Would you win the Champions League?
Wood.
It's of what I was looking for, something Algerian or French. Croissant? I don't know. Baguette. Can work. Dennis Great says Asensio, my favorite moment from Asensio is the Supercopa de España screamer against Barcelona. There were two actually. Both of them, my God, I still remember watching it live thinking, what the hell was that? Ter Stegen rooted to the spot, didn't even know what to do. Truly.
Asensio had those moments, those screamers. I think Zidane is the one who always used to say he has the best left foot after Messi in the game. So.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys something? Do you guys think that scenario with Asensio actually made everything worse for him in the sense that he came out and all of a sudden, there was too much pressure on him? Like, do you guys feel like that actually equated to him not being able to live up to the expectations that were already impossible in the first place?
I think so, genuinely, bro. When you're kind of being asked to facilitate to be, the semi replacement of a guy like Cristiano, it's not easy.
Yeah, I guess somewhere maybe the expectations played a part, but some at some point you have to blame Asensio as well. He has to make that mentality change.
You guys got to understand
because he had the tools. It's not that he did not. He had the tools. The thing is that the player has to force the manager to rely on him, right? That's something I always say about Leroy Sané, because Sané is a pretty damn good player, right? But he's inconsistent. If you don't have the consistency, managers aren't going to trust you.
You got to make a case for yourself, right?
Yeah, he has to make a case for managers to play him at a certain position. He was not able to do that, and I guess that's why it didn't work out.
Yeah. Also, the other thing that came to my mind, I was I don't want to interrupt more, but you guys got to understand the fact that it's not like Mariano inheriting the number 7, right? With Asensio, there is obvious expectation. With Mariano, it's just negligence. Like, nobody's going to really look up to him. But with Asensio, even though, people know that he is not generational, there is an expectation that can, completely affect you. Ashik says Asensio is just the kind of player that will grab the bull by the horn. Some people have that and some don't. Yeah. He might not be captain material, but I've seen him take initiative, especially with his screamers, man. Like that takes some balls. That is calculated, in my opinion. When it works, it has worked wonders. I'm not gonna lie. Reese Virak says,
but that's the thing, though, Sunil. Like, you don't judge someone based on their strengths. You judge them based on how they deal with their weaknesses. Because the point is,
100%.
you're just gonna keep asking me to do what I know how to do best, and I will just keep doing it. But then when push comes to shove, and you need shit to get done, that's when you actually see what that person is made of, honestly. And that's the thing with Asensio. That's why he's always able to get at least 10 goals a season, because he knows that at least he's gonna get 5 goals from outside of the box easily, and that's not just enough.
The biggest takeaway from this conversation is the fact that Farouk has weaknesses.
What is his weakness, man?
He said that if you ask me to work on my weaknesses.
Okay, fair enough. I expected a much better answer, but yeah, man, you disappointed me. Right.
That's the point, man. You shouldn't know my weaknesses. That's the whole point. So you don't have to test my weaknesses.
My God, this guy. Are you actually fishing for women on the podcast? I don't know, because it seems like you are. You're putting out your toxic traits. out
You
in
you
the
you know
out in the wild.
as the saying goes, man, you miss all the shots you don't take. So
Fair point. Before you go off to the military camp, I guess this is the action you're getting. Yeah, I'm happy for you, bro. Ashik said just the kind of player. Oh, I read that. Reis Birak says, who would you like as a Benzema replacement, and who do you think you'll actually get? If someone wants to take the question.
I think we've discussed this a long time, or lots of time. I think
I don't
Harry
think he
Kane
was there. Yeah.
Harry Kane probably the one that we expect. Who would I want? I don't really know. Other alternatives, maybe Colomwani, Julian Alvarez could be a good signing if we could get him. Players like that, players who can be technical.
Julian Alvarez would be next to impossible.
Exactly, I think Alvarez is impossible. Well, actually, what I just feel is that, like, I don't know. I just kind of feel it's difficult to get someone in and now for someone for the long term. That's why I feel like Colomwani is not there. So I feel like Harry Kane might be the guy, but then at what cost? That's the question you need to ask as well.
Colomwani is actually going to Bayern. I think he might go to Bayern. There's a good chance.
Oh, okay. Bro, Mo, there was that guy from Salzburg. What was his name? The young kid?
Benjamin Sesko.
So yeah. What's going on with Sesko?
He's going to Leipzig, I think.
Oh, okay. He looked good.
Sesko. It was the guy who Ten Hag was actually keen in last summer as well.
Yeah, I think United want him as well. Yeah.
Okay, actually, they agreed. He agreed to join Leipzig actually since last summer. Actually, but then Leipzig, Salzburg, same thing actually.
But I don't think he's been that good at Leipzig currently. Like Salzburg, sorry, because expectations for him are like Haaland level because of the obvious connection. Haaland started at Salzburg, so they expect something similar. But he'll go to Leipzig and we'll see.
Moukoko, he's not a striker really.
Moukoko is a Barca fan.
Yeah. So
Barca fan. Like
Alvarez
Messi
is
fan
also
probably.
a Barca fan.
Messi fan probably. I don't know. Alvarez actually played for Real Madrid when he was like 11. So I don't know.
Yeah. I know that. But he's a Messi fan, Barca fan. Again, who else can you think of outliers that we are looking for? That's the thing, man. When you're trying to replace someone,
there's actually a guy in the French league called Elie Wahi. He's actually pretty good.
Haven't heard of him.
Yeah, he's
I heard of him actually. He has a weird spelling. The name has a weird spelling, I think.
Who does he play for? Just tell me the team.
I don't actually remember the name.
Someone Google it. Someone Google
it. Strasbourg or something?
Strasbourg?
WAHI.
WAHI. Farouk, are you doing it?
Yeah, maybe I'm trying to check.
Somebody left it in the comments or something.
It says Montpellier. He's playing at Montpellier.
Montpellier. Okay. Right.
Yeah, so he's been pretty good this season. So he's been highly touted. I don't know.
How old is he? 20?
He's 20 actually. Yeah. He's 20, French. So let's see. There is that as well.
The one guy actually had a high hopes for was Guiri. Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed that it didn't work out.
I heard that name like 3 years ago, bro, but nothing happened since then. That's what puts me off,
He had a pretty good half season last year. Second half of the season, he curtailed. I think he had some sort of falling out with Gaultier because both of them were Nice. Yeah, and so
what about Florian Wirtz? Well, Wirtz is not a striker, by the way.
He's a cam.
Number 10.
There's actually a pretty good. There's actually a shortage of good strikers right now.
Yeah, like you can't really pick out like top 5 strikers easily.
Guys, I go back to the question I posed the other day as well. Like, why is no one talking about Thuram? Honestly, he's a free agent, and you need a short-term player. Why? I don't know. Honestly, like I just feel like maybe there's something.
If he's a free agent, I wouldn't be too fussed. I mean, he can do a job like Adebayo or that. I feel like
I think he could be a backup, but I think they would be hesitant about going him as a starter.
Yeah, he's never started material. I told you guys my opinion from day one. Thuram is not starting material. Simple as. Who else, man? I'm just struggling to bring up names. Like if I asked a 15-year-old myself, like it'll be a different question completely.
Rashford, if you consider him as a striker.
Rashford is a good shout, but the the finances involved in
if we have doubts about Kane, I would have even like doubled the number of doubts about Rashford.
Definitely, like I
Really?
mean, I have a lot of doubts about Rashford. Obviously, but I mean, I'm not actually
Mentality
advocating for
wise, I
Rashford,
don't think so, bro. Ability wise, I don't think so. But adaptability, I don't know. I mean, he is someone that
but I mean, what have you seen mentality wise to make you comfortable with him?
I mean, bro, United, when you look at United, you know my hatred for United, right? I don't fucking rate the team entirely. But one of those guys who never puts their heads down, gives their all. I think it's Rashford. In a pick of bad bunch, for him to stand out, he should be a leader.
I don't know, man.
Well,
I'm really reserved about.
I said the
Rashford.
same thing about
throw his
Rudiger.
name out
Well, I
there.
had to eat my words. So I don't know at this point, but I rate Rashford's tenacity. I rate Rashford's work rate. He brings a lot of intangibles as well. Super tricky.
It's just different strokes for different folks. Personally, I don't rate Rashford that highly.
You don't rate Rashford, yeah? Fair
No,
enough.
no,
Fair
I mean,
enough,
he's a good player. I don't rate him that highly, where I would want him to be Real Madrid starting striker.
Right. See if you put me at gunpoint and ask me, oh, do you want Rashford at striker? I would say no. But I'm just telling you, with the dearth of strikers, bro, like the options for world class.
If the choice was between getting somebody like Rashford, I would rather go to Atalanta and get Højlund and take a chance.
The Højlund guy,
team.
I've never seen him be in the conversation.
You like Serie A, you should go and watch Atalanta play.
I mean, the point is the finances involving getting Rashford will almost get you Osimhen, honestly. So pay for Osimhen eventually. That's just the thing.
Yeah, the entourage has spoken. The entourage has spoken.
See, let me ask you this question again, yeah? Why is Ashik's messages getting deleted, man? The fucking Nightbot,
I think you do actually said all the time, like when you use, full caps or you keep sending message over and over and over, then it gets as spam.
Right. Okay. I'm just gonna unhide the messages. But who was it? Osimhen, right? So see, Osimhen is in my humble opinion, I rate the guy, I see what he does. Like he's super quick, can do any job, can play out wide, can drift out wide. Not the best of dribblers or link up guys, but he's pretty direct, like he gives us what is on the label. But my question is this season that he just had with Napoli a one-off? I think we have to see more of Osimhen to really stamp that Real Madrid quality on his beside his resume, don't you think?
So that's the thing, right? That's the thing. So it's not about what we've seen right now, like thereof, or is he suitable or not. The point is when you consider what's available on the market. Because honestly, for me as well, honestly, like I wouldn't say like Osimhen is that guy that I would always bank on to score 30, 40 goals. Because the point is that one thing about Osimhen is always that he always gets injured every single season. There is something.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, but one thing that everyone attests to about Victor Osimhen is that he's a fucking hard worker. I mean, you can literally say that he's a donkey on the pitch. He does he's there from 0 to 90, you understand? So this is the thing, like, honestly, like, if I were building a team, will I put Osimhen in there? Most likely not. But this is what the market looks like right now.
Actually, I find it funny that Suned rates Rashford highly and then he has doubts about Osimhen, because for me personally, the way I see it, Rashford had that period this season where he scored a lot of goals. But apart from that, he's always been a what if at United. What is he?
He's a streaky player. See, he's not
even streaky. Striker. Apart from the period of time this season, before that, everybody was like, when is Rashford going to deliver? When is Rashford going to deliver? When is Rashford going to deliver?
Yeah. For
as compared to
18 months, he had a big lull. I know.
With Osimhen, at least he's shown you one full season of being top class, and without him, Napoli they struggle.
So it's not just one season though. Last season I think Osimhen actually had 12 goals in the league, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So it's not like it's just, and he missed half of the season. So it's not just a one season thing. And I said earlier as well, they paid a lot of money to get him from Lille as well. So he actually scored quite a lot at Lille as well. So
yeah,
it's
I think
not just
Osimhen also has some good technical qualities that they're really helpful to him. Overall, I do rate him, but like I said, Real Madrid are not going to pay 150 million for a player who's not named Mbappe.
Mbappe, my God. Let's leave the Mbappe talk for today. Right. Yes, I hope we answered Reese's question. That was a pretty in-depth, analysis. Right, Ashik says, don't forget Kai Havertz had a good season under Tuchel, who's a tactical manager. Havertz is a system player and struggles without being part of a system. He also adds that screamer against Barca in the Supercopa. I think he's referring to Asensio game when we were a man down that during the Negrera La Liga days. Well, that has died down, I guess.
No, it hasn't
Ashik
died
says it hasn't.
No.
Well, I hope it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure nothing's gonna come out of it. I know that for a fact.
We'll see.
UEFA ban and all, people can dream. People can dream as much as they want.
It's not about dreaming, it's about
realist.
the way the case is going.
You really think they're going to get banned from Champions League, yeah?
Champions League, there was this rumor about some recommendation, but I don't really know what will happen about that. But the proceeding in Spain, we'll see what happens with there. It's just something to watch out at.
Yeah, Reese says, I'll be honest, I don't think there's many world-class number 9s out there. And the few that are out there are nearly impossible to get. Yeah. The ones that truly elite ones are tied down to big contracts. It'll take much more than me 100 million to get them out. Right. So quick thoughts about Asensio. I'll start. I don't know, because you guys pretty much said everything you had to say about Asensio. For me, I have this memory, before actually, starting the 2016 season, how we went into the 2016 season, being the champions, because the way 2015 season went on about, like, I had no hope about, us winning the Champions League, and the way we won it against Atleti, the fact that I could rub it in my roommate's face and whatnot. I still remember, how that match went. We weren't exactly really good, but Asensio was the name that was having the most buzz, post that, and I didn't know anything about the guy. He was from Mallorca, right? Was he from Mallorca?
Yes, he's from Mallorca.
Mallorca, right? Yeah. So I just knew that this guy was supposed to be promising. He was supposed to bring some youthfulness to the side that was clearly lacking a bit of dynamism. But then he comes in, and in the Super Cup, I had no expectation. He scores an absolute banger. He actually started the game, right? Did he start the game?
I think so. I don't exactly remember, but I think because I remember Zidane having a lot of faith in him, especially after the way he did his preseason. Because before that, there was some suggestion that he would go out on loan again, because the previous season he was at loan at Espanyol. So there was some suggestion that he would go out on loan again. But he really impressed Zidane the preseason. I think he started that game. With Asensio, whenever he plays his first game in a competition, he scores a goal.
I completely forgot about the preseason as well. I don't remember exactly what games, but he was promising in the preseason as well, I remember. And the way he kind of kicked off things, I knew this kid was special. He had something in him. I still, like, when I still kind of relive that memory of his goal against Sevilla, it gives me goosebumps. This kid actually, to the contrary of popular opinion, that he was touted to be someone generational, I would say yes, he has fallen off. Obviously we'll all agree with that sentiment, but he still had quite a bit of success with us. I mean, not everyone who goes through the injury that he went through would come out the other side at least looking half the player he was before the injury. I think that's something that I'll give him credit for. The drop-off was there, but it wasn't from 10 to 0. For that, Asensio, for me, for giving it his all, for actually, being that emblem of new wave shit, new wave energy. I'm gonna be, honestly, missing him 100%. He was part of an era that was truly historic for our club. I still remember what I felt when he scored the Champions League final as well. It was a cherry on top of the cake that I didn't know that I needed. That truly gave me a different level of satisfaction. The goal didn't mean much to the game or to the result or anything, but man, I was so happy for Asensio.
Yeah, I was actually watching the game with my Barca supporting friend, and he ran away after.
The way he just jumps over the boardings onto the fans, man, I truly thought he would be the next big thing. But I'm not too disappointed. Obviously slightly disappointed, but I'm still happy with what he gave for us. So many people wrote him off, but
at least he didn't fall off like Hesse, so that's all I can say.
Yeah, 100%. That's a big point. Hesse had the similar vibes, like exactly like what Asensio, or maybe even greater, because Hesse was truly special as well. But
Hesse, they said Hesse would replace Cristiano one day.
Yeah. Like
but
he
you need to have the attitude. I think that's the point, right? You need to have the attitude. With Asensio, I love him. I'm gonna miss his bangers because I really do count on him. I think he has a great impact from the bench. But that's the issue. You really need an attitude to play for Real Madrid. And in Hesse's case, you need an attitude to play football. So, I think Asensio lacked that bit. He's going, and it hurt him, the fact that he was playing out of position. He had that injury, that ACL injury, and he also tore his meniscus and stuff. So I think it was difficult for him returning back. He's that attacking midfielder, and then you're asking him to play out wide. Then he has that ACL injury. He loses that bit of pace. So I think that made him ineffective. But he didn't help himself. He didn't make any manager to play him centrally. So that would be my disappointment with Asensio. Overall, I'm going to miss him because I think I would have rather had him stay on the team than sign players like Havertz or Brian.
100%, man, 100%. Like people used to bash him left and right. I used to tell them, this man, like he without his goals, he might not add too much to the game. But putting the ball in the back of the net, like I would say countless times, is the most difficult.
I would say this about Asensio: like when he's played centrally, he's one of the most high IQ players. Like he adds a lot to the game. I've said this before as well. When he's played centrally, when you're watching the game on the pitch, you can really understand like what Asensio brings to this team and what Asensio does. But if you play him out wide, you take away from his game.
Yeah, basically you're not playing to his strengths because he doesn't have the burst of pace. He didn't even have that before the injury. Any sort of acceleration he had, he lost even that. Post the injury. But on to you, Farooq, bro. Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like you guys, have said it all. Like Asensio is gonna be a miss, honestly, because I always, as Mo said, like I feel like he's a player that you want to call up from the bench. Honestly, like although I never, I never wanted him as a starter on the team, but I feel like he's one of those, solid squad, solid rotational players that you actually need, to get a job done. And honestly, like with the names being linked, I would rather keep Asensio because at least he knows, the ins and outs of the club, and he's shown, at least we know what he can do, what we can expect from him, honestly. And yeah, I mean, when Asensio came, with the goals against Barcelona and all the finals, the Super Cups and European Super Cup, and also at the end of the season the Champions League final, eventually, Asensio really was the one that was promised. He was the prince that was promised, honestly. But it never did happen. Similar to the same way Jon Snow didn't. It's the same way Jon Snow didn't kill the Night King, so he also didn't become the one that was promised as well. So, but yeah, it was fun, watching Asensio. And I mean, the thing was that ability. We have this thing that we call accuracy and precision when it comes to manufacturing. The repeatability of the process for Asensio was super crazy, honestly. Like he always, could always whip that left foot, always, and it was always going. So
it was like abusing a fucking FIFA glitch.
Exactly. Honestly, it was like a glitch in the game, honestly. So you have to give credit to that. But honestly, some people are just not made for certain things, and I felt like those two injuries actually took a toll on Asensio a lot. And I also think that the point where he got those injuries were also crucial in the sense that he got those injuries at the points where the team needed him the most. You understand? And then he was gone. And then the team had to adapt one way or another. You understand? Because the thing is that we can look at the growth of the likes of Vinicius Jr., the growth of the likes of Rodrigo, the growth of even the likes of Fede Valverde as well. You understand? All these are attributed to the fact that when Cristiano left, when Bale declined, there was no one to step up. You understand? Vinicius Junior stepped up into the stage. Like Hazard came also, we all know what happened with Hazard as well, understand? So I feel like at that point in time, like Asensio got injured at the wrong time. Because imagine if Asensio had got injured in 2016, for example. I think it would have been fine. He would have come back, easily and find a way back into the team gradually. But I feel like it was at a very crucial point for the team that there was literally no one else. You understand? So when he got injured, new people came in, they fought for their positions and they cemented their positions in the team. And for that reason, like, it was even more difficult for Asensio to, come back and regain his position in the team as well. But yeah, I mean, as Mo said, that's the thing. Like we saw what Isco did with Zidane in 2016 to 2017. He forced him to rethink the whole thing, you understand? Well, Asensio never showed, with all his promise and what is and what is not, but he never actually, came to that level, honestly, that would make the managers or the coaches rethink how they shape up their play.
Yeah, Mo wants to leave. Do we have 5 minutes, Mo?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah?
Let's just
5 minutes, yeah? Yeah.
Okay.
For Asensio, I'll tell you something. If he went out last season, we wouldn't be so kind. Especially I wouldn't be so kind. I'll guarantee you that, because last season was horrendous for him. But yeah, this season he kind of redeemed himself, kind of climbed up a bit in our estimation of him as a player. But for Hazard, I would like to apologize for all the burger memes and all the shit that I've thrown at you. You probably didn't deserve it, but it was just frustration because I wasn't a huge fan of Hazard, but when he joined us, obviously I would back him and get behind him and expect him to like truly deliver. But for one reason or the other, it just quite didn't happen. As for Mariano, he was never really a great player, but I would forever be grateful for those 2 goals, the one against Depor and the other against Barcelona and the Clásico. Both meant significant blows to especially Barcelona and their rivals who were chasing the La Liga crown. So he, despite all the memes, all the hairstyle shit that he gets, he had a role to play into La Liga winning campaigns, no matter how small it is. I'll forever remember Mariano Diaz. Right. Prakash Arial says, why yesterday's episode of Bellingham doesn't show on the channel? Right. Prakash, yesterday's Bellingham special kind of got messy because, our guest Ben's Wi-Fi was messed up. We kind of decided to do it again from scratch. Keep an eye out on our socials. We would let you know ASAP. Hopefully it'll be this week, 100% before Jude becomes official. So watch out for it. Hopefully Ben doesn't have Wi-Fi issues, and it'll be a much more stable show. Yeah, man, the reason why I removed it because Ben had to go in and out and it was kind of messy because of that. The conversation kept getting interrupted. But yeah, much love for all the 15 out of you who are here. This was a proper devastating day, but Farouk and Mo here completely lifted the spirits. I wasn't feeling so lively when I came on, to be honest. Props to these guys, they put a smile on my face. I don't know how. I hate them to the bits for that, but I can't help but smile when these guys keep the conversation going.
I hate you too. The feeling
the feeling is mutual, yeah. And also big up man, all of you guys. Lol, Dennis the Great.
I mean, we don't have to call him Lol now, right? We could call him Raul. So.
Raul, but yeah, Lol is iconic, man. Come on. No, I can't get that out of my out of my lips, honestly, because I'm so used to calling him lol. Yeah, man. Ashik as well was brilliant talking to Ashik and Raul for the first time. Yeah, Dennis the Great says Real Valladolid is relegated. I'm happy for Celta. I feel bad for Fenomeno, but I'm really happy for Aspas. He deserves to stay in the league. But yeah, man. Keep an eye out on our socials. Hopefully this week, we'll be redoing the Jude Bellingham special, and properly breaking it down for you guys. But yeah, any final thoughts, Mo and Farouk?
No, man, you said it best. You said everything about Hazard. I'd just like to add the fact that I kind of feel sorry for him because, he's a massive Madrid fan and it was a dream that turned sour. You feel bad in those situations. I just hope it had gone better for him. Apart from that, Mariano, always passionate academy player. Loved him when he was here in the first stage. Towards the end, maybe it got a little
Goal
tough,
against
but
Roma.
yeah, that goal was special. So,
Yeah.
but it's okay. It's okay. It's over now. Mariano will always be a Madrid player. So I never hate Madrid players unless and until they do something that make me hate them.
Fair. Farouk.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the Hazard thing was, really, I mean, I wouldn't say sad, but pathetic in the sense that, it can be sad for 1 year, it can be sad for 2 years, but it can be sad for 4 years, Eventually you need to, own up and take responsibility for your actions, And the thing is that, I mean, Hazard was the guy in the Premier League. Like, Hazard was the reason the Premier League was the Premier League, honestly. Like, and I think even till now, there is no player who actually lights up the Premier League, like, since Hazard has left, like he did, you understand? He was the guy who, I think, was it in 2016 when they won the title? He single-handedly won the title for Chelsea. And I mean, since then, I don't think any player has single-handedly won a title for a team since then. Honestly, what has, because I
2016,
know that,
17.
I know, like, I used to have this argument a lot. Like, a lot of people will be like, okay, I want Neymar to come to Real Madrid. And I'll be like, nah, for me, Hazard, he's the guy, And, I got my wish, Hazard came, but, shit happened. And
monkey's paw.
Honestly, from my perspective, it's sad. But I think from a footballer's perspective, like, what Hazard has done, I think it's nothing short of a disgrace. Like, I think this arguably is the worst transfer in the history of Real Madrid. Like, I think, I don't know, maybe there's some people to compete with him, but I mean, it would take something monumental.
One guy. What was that guy's name, Mo? The English Gravison, yeah?
But I mean, Gravison didn't go for 100 million, man.
Gravison is no way comparable. The only guy is comparable is Coutinho for Barcelona. Coutinho even scored against Barcelona. So.
Oh yeah, Coutinho. Oh yeah, that's a whole nother thing. At least Hazard didn't sabotage us, right? Yeah. Apart from eating a couple of burgers here and there, but yeah, man. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. That is great. Says, big up everyone. Let's do the business in the summer and win as much as possible next season. A la Madrid. Let's hope. Let's be hopeful, man. Yeah, guys, as we said earlier, Jude special coming soon. Keep an eye out on the socials. Also, do keep sending in your feedback. We love to hear if it's negative, positive, send it in, man. Honestly, it means a lot. Also, do check out our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. The link is in the description below. Show them some love. We are on the road to 1K. Get us to 1K before the next season begins, man. At least the actual goal was to get it before this season ended, but it doesn't look like it will be happening. But yeah, man, 50 odd away, 1K would mean a lot. I repeat, it would mean a lot. Ashik says, Farouk, it's not as bad as wishing for Atleti to score against us in a Copa final. Well, I don't understand what he actually meant, but yeah. I guess that's pretty much it, people. Until next time, Ala Madrid.
Ala Madrid.
Ala Madrid.